Tonight's show starts with an unusual signal. A major AI company built something powerful, and instead of rushing it into everyone's hands, it hit the brakes. That alone tells us this is not a normal product. Mythos is being framed as a breakthrough, but also as a warning. Anthropic says Mythos is powerful enough in cybersecurity that it is not being released to the public. This is not just a tech story. It touches banks, hospitals, software, and daily life. The simplest way to understand this is that the warning is coming from the builder. Anthropic itself says Mythos is powerful enough in cybersecurity that it needs restricted handling. If the lab that built the engine is telling us to keep the safety barriers up, we should probably pay attention. Anthropic describes Mythos as a general-purpose AI model with unusually strong cybersecurity ability. The company says it launched Project Glasswing because Mythos could reshape cybersecurity. It is restricting access instead of doing a normal public release. Most people do not wake up thinking about software vulnerabilities. So let's translate. A vulnerability is basically a weak spot in a digital system. Mythos is being described as a tool that can inspect those weak spots at very high speed and with unusual depth, almost like a supercharged building inspector for code. Software has hidden weak spots, just like buildings can have hidden cracks. Mythos is designed to examine code and systems at very high speed. Anthropic says it is especially good at finding flaws that attackers could use. Here's where the story turns serious. It is one thing to find a weak lock. It is another to figure out how to open it. Anthropic says Mythos can do both kinds of work, which is why the same capability that could protect systems could also become dangerous if it spreads too widely or too quickly. Anthropic says Mythos can do more than spot bugs. It can help turn them into working attacks. The company says this capability appeared through stronger coding, reasoning, and autonomy, not narrow training alone. That means future general AI systems may gain similar powers as they improve. This matters because software is not some distant abstract layer anymore. It is the plumbing of modern life. It helps run banks, hospitals, transport systems, energy networks, government records, and the devices in our homes. If AI starts getting dramatically better at finding weak spots in that plumbing, ordinary people will feel the consequences. Software helps run banking, hospitals, transport, energy, and communication. If AI gets much better at finding weak points in that software, the impact reaches far beyond Silicon Valley. This becomes a public safety and national security story, not just a product launch. We are not leaning on a rumor. We have primary source documents from Anthropic, including a system card, a technical security write-up, and the Project Glasswing announcement. The key takeaway is not just that the company is making bold claims, but that it is putting structure, partners, and funding behind a restricted response. Anthropic published a system card, a technical security assessment, and a Project Glasswing announcement. The company says Mythos is being shared only with a limited set of defensive partners. Anthropic says it is putting up to $100 million in usage credits and $4 million in open source support behind the effort. It is important to say this carefully. Some of the biggest claims, like thousands of vulnerabilities and coverage across every major operating system and browser, are claims Anthropic has made publicly. They may well be true, but for a trustworthy presentation, we should keep those claims clearly attributed instead of overstating what has been independently confirmed. Anthropic says Mythos has found thousands of high-severity vulnerabilities. Anthropic says the model has identified vulnerabilities in every major operating system and web browser. Those claims are important, but the strongest wording should still be attributed to Anthropic unless independently proven. Project Glasswing is basically Anthropic's attempt to give defenders a head start. Instead of throwing this tool into the wild, the company is placing it with selected organizations that can use it to scan and strengthen important systems. Think of it as reinforcing the seawall before the storm fully arrives. Project Glasswing brings together major technology and security organizations. Anthropic says over 40 additional critical software organizations will also gain access. The goal is to find and fix weaknesses before similar capabilities spread more widely. The good path is not fantasy. In the best case, systems like Mythos help defenders find dangerous flaws before criminals do. That could mean safer infrastructure, fewer catastrophic breaches, and software that gets fixed before the public ever notices there was a problem. Restricted use gives defenders time to patch vulnerable systems. AI could help find dangerous flaws before criminals do. Over time, these tools could make software safer and more resilient. The bad path is also easy to imagine. If offensive capability spreads faster than defense, then society may experience a long season of digital instability. Not one giant dramatic collapse, but many smaller failures that pile up. Fraud, ransomware, outages, delays, emergency patches, and a growing sense that our digital world cannot be trusted. Powerful bug finding and exploit building abilities could spread to bad actors. Defenders may struggle to patch systems as fast as new weaknesses are discovered. The result could be pure chaos. This is the deeper philosophical question. The same technology can act like a shield or a weapon depending on who controls it and what safeguards exist. That is why the real challenge here is not only innovation, it is governance, access, restraint, and timing. The same capability can help defenders or attackers depending on who holds it. Mythos may mark a moment when cybersecurity entered a new AI era. Mythos may turn out to be less important than the conversation it forced into the open. What happens when AI gets so good at probing the digital world that the tools for defense start to look a lot like the tools for attack? If this moment is handled well, it could make the digital world safer. If it is handled badly, it could become a warning we wish we had taken more seriously. Mythos matters because it suggests AI may now be stressing the software foundations of society at a new level. The good path is stronger defense, faster fixes, and safer systems. The bad path is a future where digital infrastructure becomes harder to trust.